Have you ever met someone who could talk for hours, keeping everyone engaged like it's the easiest thing in the world? Meanwhile, others can barely make it past, "How's your day?" without the conversation dying out. For some, talking is natural and effortless. For others, it feels uncomfortable, forced, and honestly, something they try to avoid. Take Sam, for instance. He walks into a room, and somehow, people just gravitate toward him. He tells stories, cracks jokes, and never seems to run out of things to say. People call him charming, outgoing, or the life of the party. But here's the thing. What if that charm isn't something you're born with? What if it's a mindset, one that anyone can develop? In this video, I'll break down exactly what great communicators are actually doing and how you can do it too. We'll go through a few frameworks to keep any conversation alive, and I'll show you one trick that makes it almost impossible to run out of things to say. But first, let's start with one common mistake that makes people think they're bad at socializing. When Brian wanted to get better at talking to people, he searched online and found advice like, just be confident. Don't overthink. Be yourself. Sounds helpful until you actually try it. He gave it a shot, but all it got him was a handful of awkward silences and forced smiles. Eventually, he avoided conversations altogether. Here's the truth. It is possible to talk without running out of things to say, and learning how to do it pays off in every part of life. From work, to friendships, to random chats with strangers, good communication makes everything easier. And at its core, being a great communicator comes down to three things: understanding the process, practicing it often, and building enough confidence to stop second-guessing yourself. You could learn 100 tricks and clever lines, but without the right mindset, none of it will stick. That's a lesson Peter learned early on. Every time someone didn't laugh at his joke or respond how he hoped, he assumed he messed up. He took it personally. But conversations aren't solo acts. You're not responsible for every second of how they go. Sometimes, people are distracted. Sometimes, they're just not in the mood. And that's not on you. One shift in thinking can take a huge weight off your shoulders. I remember working with someone named Jamie. He said, "I know what I should say, but when I'm in the moment, my brain goes blank. I overthink everything." That's normal. It happens when your attention is locked in your head instead of the conversation. You're trying to solve it like a puzzle instead of just being there. Here's the real goal. Don't try to impress. Try to enjoy. Like building muscle memory, your brain needs time and repetition to relax into conversations. The more you practice, the less pressure you feel. That's when people start calling you a natural. But you've got to hang in there. Most people give up too early and say, "Okay, but I still don't know what to say." Here's where things get fun. Because the truth is, you don't need to know what to say. A conversation is just a casual exchange of thoughts between two people. That's it. Not a performance. Not a TED Talk. Trying to fill every silence puts way too much pressure on yourself. It's exhausting. One of the best pieces of advice: ask more questions. Ever seen how a little kid talks? Picture a 4-year-old in the back seat. What's that? It's a tractor. Why is it moving? Because it's working on the field. Why? And on it goes. That kid runs the entire conversation with just curiosity. Now imagine that. If a kid can do it, you definitely can. And the good news is, you can ask better questions than just why, though even that one can go surprisingly far. Still, not all questions are created equal. Some fall flat. Like, "So, what do you do?" It works, but it's dry. Imagine a podcast host asking a guest, "What's your job?" And the guest replies, "I'm an accountant." The host says, "Oh, that's cool." And then, silence. It dies right there. But what if instead they asked, "What's something about your job that people completely misunderstand?" Now we're getting somewhere. The guest might open up about how accounting actually involves strategy and solving problems. Then the host can jump in with a story or connect it to something else. That's how you turn boring small talk into something memorable. Here's the key. Ask questions about what people like to talk about. Still not sure what to ask? Try this underrated trick. Pause. Ever seen someone like Jeff Bezos in an interview? He doesn't rush. He takes a moment. He thinks before answering. And that pause? It shows confidence. You can do the same thing. Feeling like you have to answer immediately is part of what makes conversations feel stressful. A short pause, just 2 or 3 seconds, can change everything. You can even say out loud, "That's a great question. Let me think for a second." Take a breath. Gather your thoughts. People actually appreciate it. Let's say someone asks, "What do you think about people who don't use social media?" You pause. Then say, "Honestly, I admire it. It's rare these days. I've tried unplugging before, and I realized how often I reach for my phone without thinking." That's a real, grounded answer. No rush, just thoughtful. Here's another great tool, the last 3 words method. One of the reasons people love watching interviews with hosts like Tim Ferriss is because they listen. When someone says, "I had to rebuild everything from scratch," Tim might respond, "From scratch." That echo shows he's paying attention, and it gives the other person space to go deeper. You can do the same. It keeps the conversation moving without you needing to come up with something new every second. Transitions also matter. Bring up topics that interest you too. Conversations are two-way streets. Keep a few favorite subjects in your back pocket: music, fitness, food, travel, whatever works. Just like Tim talks about productivity or habits, you can share what excites you. If it fits, great. If not, keep going. Let's say someone says, "I started painting during the pandemic. It really helped with stress." Instead of saying, "Cool, I draw too. Try. That's awesome. What made you start painting?" Or share a quick personal story with feeling, "I used to sketch when I felt overwhelmed. It was like therapy for me." That creates connection. You're not just replying, you're building something together. And hey, if the vibe's right, a little humor or flirt can spice things up. Like, "So, what's your secret to painting and not getting paint all over your face?" Said with a grin, of course. Timing matters. But the point is, keep it light, not rehearsed. At the end of the day, approach conversations with curiosity, not desperation. That tiny shift makes a huge difference. When you want connection, you're open. When you need it, you come off tense. And remember this, you've survived every conversation in your life so far. You'll survive the next one too.